Good morning, everyone. It's Aisha here, and this video is brought to you by Mavio. The topic today we're going to cover is unit segmentation variants. We are going to see that how our segmentation works, how we're using unit and all of that. So when we talk about AI in the medical imaging, we often think that we are going to ask the computer that if there is a tumor or not, and if the computer is going to say yes, that would be enough. But in actual clinical practices, that's really not enough. The doctor doesn't need to know that if there is a tumor or not. They need to know that where to cut, right? So they cannot just make a random cut. They need to know the location, they need to know where it is located, they need to know how big or small it is. So the yes or no of an answer is not enough for them. So we're gonna think of segmentation as a coloring book, and your classification is basically identifying that picture you're seeing there. So segmentation is coloring inside the image, and yeah, pixel by pixel you're gonna see it. And today we're moving beyond the standard coloring, and we're gonna see that how the advanced tools are helping us to handle this messy, noisy reality of your medical data. Okay, so this is your beyond the classification. I told you that how it is the digital coloring book. The yes or no answer is not enough. Segmentation is like giving a radiologist a coloring book and asking them to color every single pixel that belongs to the tumor red, and everything else is green. So this red thing you see right here is the tumor, and the other green is like the other thing. Your object detection is drawing that draws a bounding box, and then your segmentation is that defines the exact border that this is segmented. Okay, this is the tumor, this is segmented right here, that okay, this the only place you need to cut down. All of this around here is not your thing. Then we're going to move on to the better part. Before we look at the variants, let's just briefly recap our gold standard, the unit. What is this U shape? This is just not for the sake of the statics. This does contains a meaning. We have two different things mainly in this. We have two different paths in this. First is the contracting path. What is your contracting path? Captures that. What is it? We compress the image to understand the context. We're going to see that is this a lung, is this a heart, or whatever it is. So we're just contracting the image. Okay, this is your contracting path. And if we look at the expanding path, this is where it tells us that capture where's the location of it. So what comes to your mind? Expanding. You're just going to expand the image back and you're going to see where it is located. So your contracting path is like contracting the image and seeing what is it, and then expanding is like expanding the image and see where is it. Okay, and then we have skip connection. Your skip connections, what are they? This is the secret sauce. Honestly, this is medical images is actually about fine details. So we skip connections like teleporters and sending high risk details from the beginning of the network to the ending of that line, so we don't really lose the tiny edges during that compression. So we recover fine details lost during the compression. We build the gaps. We match it all. We make sure that we're not skipping the connections right there. Okay, why evolve the foundation, the reality of the medical data? If unit is so good of a thing, why do we have dozens of variants then? Why do we need the other variants for that? Because human anatomy is honestly very unpredictable, and we all know that. We never know when it is going to change, we never know how is it going to change, we never know how is it going to react to a certain thing. So it's pretty unpredictable, and for that sake we need different variants. The first thing we're going to look into is vanishing gradients. Okay, what is your vanishing gradients? It is basically your deep networks can actually forget sometimes. They can forget what they learned in the early layers. So obviously the whole network is going layer by layer. So it can forget what they learned in the early layers, okay? Then we have scale variability. What is this? Organs come in all sizes. So fixed skip connections can't always bridge the semantic gap for tiny tumors. For example, your lung is like a 15 centimeter, your nodule could be like a 2 millimeter. So you cannot always bridge the gap between them, all right? So for that, you struggle to see both simultaneously. Then we have signal noise. What is your signal noise? Our medical scans are full of a visual static. We need the network to literally ignore the noise and just focus on the right signal. So this is your signal noise. Your standard unit treats every pixel equally. Attention allows us to focus only on relevant regions. Okay. Then we have our advanced unit architecture. That how does this work? We have unit fighting degradation. There's this analogy we use telephone game. Okay, let's take an example. Let's take this analogy that in a deep network, information gets diluted. As per I told you guys, that in deep networks, it has to pass by layer. Okay, so when it is passing layer by layer, it does get diluted as it passes through the layers. So your residual blocks add express lanes to it. Your what medical impact does it leave? It enables the deeper networks to capture complex histological patterns without training failure. So this is the medical impact it's leaving on us. We have okay, let's just look at the heavy hitters you're likely to use in your research. First, we have attention unit, and analogy is the eye tracker. If you were to see a single needle in the needle stack, attention unit is just gonna take you through the whole stack. So imagine reading a medical report, your eyes jump to the malignant while ignoring the patient is, who the patient is, what the patient is. You're just noticing as one thing, which is the problem, the disease, the tumor, the malignant. Okay, so this is your attention unit. If we look at attention gates, what are the gates? Your attention gates acts like a spotlight. They basically highlight the useful features and they suppress the every irrelevant background noise that you doesn't need to know. So this is vital for small targets in clustered backgrounds. Okay, so if there is a you're seeing an abdominal scan and there are tons of things at the background, the mass, the bones, the bed, or anything, you're just going to ignore everything. You're just going to focus on what you need to know, right? So you're going to ignore the small little clusters out there, small little things that you don't need to know. Okay, then we have unit plus bridging the gap. Okay, this is instead of the simple unit teleporter skip of connections, you use unit plus, which is that it uses a web of nested paths. Unit plus, what is it doing? It is using a web of nested paths, and it's like checking your work multiple times at different scales. It's computationally heavy but incredibly precise for your varied organ sizes. Okay, so it's standard unit bridges, raw encoder features with refined decoder features. Like your unit plus adds a nested sub networks to refine the bridge, so you can look at your every type of organs. Okay, this reduced disparity between failure maps. This highly effective for tiny polyps or radiate cell shapes. You're able to look at everything since it's like network of nested paths. Then we have TransUNet. This is where the transformer meets the CNNs. Okay, it uses the global context, the CNN encoder that captures your local context, fine texture, shape, edges, tiny details, everything. Your CNN encoder is gonna look at them. And if we look at the transformer, we capture the global context, the relationship between your distant organs. Okay, and your unit decoder that is gonna restore your spatial resolution for high precision output mass. So yeah, it's currently the state of the art of multi-organ segmentation. Okay, then we're gonna look at this is the measuring success. This is pretty easy of a thing to look at. This is your handling the class imbalance. Like in medical imaging, tumors are often tiny compared to the healthy tissue, right? So your standard accuracy sometimes fails, and this is your dice rule that you're going to use, your primary matrix. In this matrix, your A is the predicted mass and your B is the ground truth. So you're going to say that what were your predictions and what is the ground truth. You're just going to compare them and see if it is giving you a success or a failure. Then we have an NUNet, the automation winner. No new net. Before building a complex variant, try NNUNet. It doesn't change the architecture, it just automates the configuration. Your architecture stays the same, it's just going to automate your configuration. Your auto path size and batch size, auto pre-processing, your state-of-the-art results on most benchmarks. We're going to look at the hand-ons later. Okay, you have a variant selection guide. What is your variant selection guide? For the simple things, for the simple selection, we're going to select unit. For the baselines, for the simple anatomy and all that, for the tiny targets, we're going to go for the attention unit. For the small little tiny targets, you're going to use attention unit. And unit plus is like your nested skip paths. It is going to look at the targeted scales and sizes. And for complex anatomy, you're going to use the trans unit. Yeah, I guess that is it for the failure of this. We are gonna look at the lab. We're just gonna hop into C where this takes us. Okay, I am gonna go to the handout for this. I have very simple of the codes for you guys. We're gonna use fewer things in here that you need to understand. Before that, you need to understand three of the concepts, and I'm gonna take you one by one through them. First is your double convection. What is this? This is the feature extractor. This is basically the vision unit of the model. Now, what it does, we all have a question. Sounds nice, double convection, and what it does, it performs two back-to-back 3 by 3 convolutions. So that in medical imaging, the first convolution might detect simple edges, while the second combines the first and it's look at all the complex edges as well. So it detects the complex shapes of the organ as well as their edges. Okay, so it uses a batch, and for the normalization, it's used to keep the training stable and to help the model learn whatever you need to know. This is your double convection. We have another thing that we need to learn is your attention gate. What it basically does, it is going to make you look at the specific area you need to work at. It takes the inputs of the high resolution. Okay, so it compared these two signals, like the globe your high resolution and your global context. It's going to take signals from these two and create a weight map. It's going to see that what and where to agree, right? That where is the organ and what is the organ that we need to look at. Okay, so if we look at the results of the attention gate, we're going to multiply the features by its weight map. The features we're seeing and the weight map we created, this brightens the pixels belonging to the target we want. So your attention gate, what is it doing? It is taking you to the target directly. Okay, this dims the noise, this like fat or air or anything. It is gonna make you focus on the organ right there. Then we have attentional unit. This is a complete system that integrates the building blocks into a U shape, and I showed you that, right? What it does, you just need to know that it manages the flow of data from raw input image to the final binary networks or the binary mask that you're looking at. Okay, so this is it. You need to know about these three things, and we're gonna look into the codes for now because this was really necessary for you to know that what is gonna go into the codes. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna import the torch. Simply, we have the double convention. Now, what the double convention does here, this module right here, this is your fundamental building block of the network. Okay, it processes the raw pixel images, it abstracts features like edges, textures, or anything of the organ boundaries. Okay, now what this does right here, we're gonna take it, we're gonna define it, we're gonna take the self we are right here. This is your NN convection 2D. What is this doing? This slides a 3 by 3. We're using 3, right? So this slides a 3 by 3 window across the image to detect your local patterns. So we're locating your local patterns right here. Then we have this resolution kind of thing in place true. That's what this is doing. It basically filters out your negative values. It is making it all true. This allows your model to learn the non-linear relationships in the data. We're making it all true. And then this is where we're doing the conventions. We are using 3 by 3 convention right here, okay? And then we have attention gate. Remember I told you that we're using the convention to use the edging of the thing, to see the edging of the thing, and attention gates are for the target. So in the attention gate, all we're gonna do is we're gonna target the whole thing. For example, this is self WG, this code right here. What is this line doing? This takes the smart data from the deeper layers, which knows that this is the object, right? This is telling us that this right here, this batch is your target. This is what you're supposed to look at. And then we have the X1. This is your spatial signal. This is just gonna make your resolution high, data from the early layers, which knows where the edges were. So in the early layer, we know where the edges were. In the second layer, we're just gonna see where we ended up the first layer. And this is what this second line of code is doing right here. Okay, and then we have the important parts. This is just definition forwarding this. Okay, the important part is this. What is this line of code doing here? This finds what and where the overlap. Okay, so this is doing the alignment. So we're using this code of line for the alignment, and this is return. This is gonna multiply your original image details. Yeah, original image details by an attention weight. Pixels that aren't important to you get multiplied by 0. They're gonna stay hidden, and important pixels are multiplied by 1, and they're highlighted. Okay, two steps are done. We're done with the convolution, we're done with the attention gate, and now we're move on to the attentional unit. What is our attentional unit doing right here? First line of code we're gonna look into is where is it? Yeah, we're just gonna look into this and we're gonna see where it is taking us. It's your self-encoding double convention, your max pool. Okay, what is this doing? This is your downward path. Yeah, this code right here is your downward path. This encodes the image. And why is it encoding the image? It's reducing the image size, but increasing the number of filters by 64. Where we have used this 64 right here. This is what we coded in the comment as well. This is your encoder. This is what your encoder is going to do. Your image size is going to be reduced, but what you're adding the number, the filters by 64. Then again, you have self up, you are decoding what you're going to decode. Okay, yourself. First we look at your self bottleneck. What is this doing? This is the bridge, the deepest part of your network where the most abstract meaning of the scan is captured. Okay, and then we have the decoding, your self up one, your unsample, you're unsampling, you're aligning the corners, you're telling it bilinear it is supposed to be. And then, yeah, this is all it for it. This is what you're giving the data to it, okay? And then we're gonna see your torches. Where did the torches go? Yeah, this is your, okay, this right here. This is your encoder path again. You're encoding, you're giving it the shapes, you're telling it the max pool, you're again giving it a bottleneck, you're again giving it the decoder path. The major part is where you concatenate. Your torch concatenation is going by this stacks the attention filter data like A1 on the top of the unsampled data, that is your G1. Okay, and this creates a rich data set of your like 192 channels right here for the final decision. So what you're doing, you're concatenating it, you're stacking it one upon another, you're stacking the filtered A data upon the unsampled data, which is G1. And then you have this stored sigmoid final this. What is this doing? This is giving you the final output. This converts the final numbers into a probability between 0 to 100%, okay, for every pixel out there. And now what we're going to do the testing, we're going to do the verification of this. Before just obviously treating on a real patient, we run a dummy kind of a thing for this. Okay, so this is the dummy. This is try this is the trying, the fixing, the verification, and then you print that if you're using this, you're using the if then kind of statement that print success output shape outmask dot shape. You print the attention gate filtered the features and the decoder process them correctly. So you attention gate filtered features and then your decoder process them correctly. Okay, and accept exceptions as E. If this is not happening, then print errors still exist. And if your decoder didn't process them correctly or your attention gate didn't filter the features correctly, you're going to get a statement, and that is errors still exist because there is an error. If I run this code, I got a success output shape, this output shape, the torch size of that output, that organ that we took as a dummy, the attention gate filtered the features and the decoder processed them correctly. Why is it happening? Because we did all the steps correctly. Why? Because our filtered features are decoded and processed by the decoder correctly, and this is why we're getting this. You can change the shapes, you can change the sizes, you can take a real human, yeah, you can take a patient's data and you can put it right in here to just see how does this works. Just to remember, we're doing 3 steps. We're doing double convention, we're doing the attention gates, and then again the last thing, we're doing your attentional units, and at the end you just verify it and you just get done with it. Yeah, this is pretty much it for this lecture. I hope you guys got it. Just practice it on your own. Practice makes a man perfect, and you're gonna be good to go. So yeah, that's it for today's lecture. Thank you for watching.